In this video, we are taking the Axial Base Camp, and we are going to go a little crazy with some wild overdrive, plus a bunch of actual weight on the front axle, all to see how we can do to make this crawler even better than it already is. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Troy, and this is Roadside RC. What you'll tend to find me doing on the channel is crawling and bashing and drifting and racing, plus doing product review videos and how-tos. This Axial Base Camp has been with me for a while now, and I have done a pretty extensive amount of modifications to it, even including hacking the whole rear of the truck and shortening it all up, making it a short bed, if you will, and really improving the rear clearance of the truck. So we've done a lot of stuff. We've moved weight around, tires and wheels. We actually already have overdrive in the front differential itself. And today we're adding some brass up front to improve that front rear weight balance. And we're going with the most aggressive portal overdrive setup that I could find. This is from Trio, and it is a 16:19 gear ratio. So it should give us a very noticeable amount of overdrive. We already have about 12.5% in here due to that front differential gear. With this on top of it, maybe it's actually going to be too much overdrive. We're going to find out. But the first thing we have to do is get a battery in it and go drive it on my course to get a baseline of how does it do. That way, once we add the weight, we add the overdrive, we can come back and see exactly how much better it is. First step to swapping this off is we are going to be removing the top bottom screw plus the steering linkage here in order to take this whole portal, everything off all as one, because we're going to be swapping out basically that whole unit plus the gears that are in it. To get the portal gear itself all apart, 1.5 millimeter here helps us take the hex off, and then these 4 screws and the whole diff case itself, or the whole portal cover itself, should come apart, and we have access to the bearings and gears inside. These Top Ked whole portal boxes, if you will, inside and outside portal, they were really nice. They actually fit together with like a machine in. They come with all the necessary hardware that you need. And oh my gosh, backside is 95 grams, front is 48. So what is that? 143 total grams right here on the front compared to what you have here with this, which is almost nothing with this plastic. Huge difference on the front of these trucks. Really nice parts. I've used them before. And then here's what we're also getting at with this gear change right here. Stock gear ratio goes to the aftermarket ratio with these Trial parts. Huge gear ratio overdrive improvement here. Trial gears do come with their own pins, so you can replace those pins as you do this. The Top Ked brass portals come with their own screws, but you do need to reuse your bearings. If you've run in a lot of water, now is a great time to replace them. This truck's still relatively new, so I don't have any issues with just reusing these. But that means I need to move these two bearings over here, and I need to move this bearing over to this front cover. New gearing is installed, bearings are all moved over. Simply slide everything together. And now as I put all of these screws back in, I will be using Loctite because we are doing metal on metal now. Oh yeah, look at that. That is one good looking corner on that truck now. So friendly reminder, remember you are using like aluminum screws going into brass. Do not over tighten these things. You want to be careful as you do that. But look at this all installed. That looks awesome. I can't get, so I got to jump over here to the other side, get it done. I am very excited to see just how much overdrive we do have now with all of this in here like this. And then we find an issue, right? These kind of things, there's always some kind of issue. So it feels as if that goes on there just fine. But as it turns out, the backside of my wheel hub here is so large. These are a fairly inexpensive set of wheels. They have this similar style of very large hub on here. And when you put that hub on here, it actually interferes with all of these raised edges that are here on this front knuckle. And so a couple things, if you have other, like these are the stock wheels that come on this truck, they go on and they clear with no issue whatsoever. Their hub is just that much smaller. I happen to actually already have a set of TRX4 wheels here also. Same thing, no issue whatsoever. So it all depends on the wheel that you have. When I did this before with a different set of wheels on my Gladiator, I had no issue at all. So now I have a couple choices. Choice one is I actually come in here and take my handheld like Dremel grinder and I actually remove some of this material around here to allow the hex to actually sit all the way in. That's option one. Option two is Club 5 and some other folks actually make a hex extender that will actually allow the hex to come out a little bit. And I mean, we're talking about a millimeter or two here. So like that Club 5 extender is about, I think if I remember right, a 5mm extender. I can also check to see, I might have just a thicker hex period. So we're going to look at a couple of these things and see what the best option is. To our rescue now is Club 5. They have this beautiful little kit here with two extended drive shafts and two slightly wider hexes. These are the 10mm ones. These should be just enough to push that hex out just far enough that the wheels will then clear and everything will be great. Let's get to putting these on and see what it does. That simple swap is done, and now we're going to do a check to see how heavy this truck is. Body is on, battery is in the front, and we are at, hopefully the GoPro can catch this, we're at a total of 3,000 grams. I am 60% front weight, 40% rear weight, 1923 across those front tires. And this really is interesting because I'm looking here at a photo I snapped when I first got this truck, and with the battery in the middle position, that front rear weight bias was 52 front, 48 rear. So it was almost equal front rear. And now what we have is a 60-40. Now, for me, that is exactly what I love when I get into crawling, is I love that more front weight so that truck will pull up and over obstacles. Reduce all the weight on the back, add all the weight on the front, and check it out. So now that we got that in there and we can see how much difference we've made total with this truck, let's see exactly how much overdrive we have there. I have tape here on the bottom of the wheels, and what we'll see is this rear tire will rotate once, and we'll see just how far past once this front tire rotates. Now, as a reminder, before I put these staggeringly high overdrive gears in the front portal, I already have overdrive in the front differential in the center ring gear and input and ring gear that was already giving us about a 12.5% overdrive. So that meant once this turned a full circle, this one was down here right about here. All right, how much did those portal gears give us now? We're going to slowly turn it, try to slowly turn it. This ISDT ESC does not like free spinning. Oh. Okay, so rear wheel did 1 revolution. The front tire did 1 3/4 revolution. I've never had anything more than, I think it was like 40%, 30 something, close to in that range. I think I did with the Ecto, and that was a fair amount. Now I have 75% overdrive. 75% seems like way too much, right? But let's just see. Now that was interesting right there. That was really interesting. The top cad weight, that extra weight on the front of the truck, I think definitely a good thing. That much overdrive, that's not what you want. That's not what you want. You could tell, you could feel that the truck front and rear were not on the same page. Now, let me say this clearly. I've done more aggressive overdrive before. I've done in that, like, again, I think it was just below 40% in the Ecto. Love it. All right. I did something in that same neighborhood, something above 25%, below 50, somewhere in that range, in the Axial Gladiator. Loved it. Really, really good. Once you get to something like this 70%, that's too much. You could feel that the truck was not as you could tell it wasn't working together. The front and rear weren't pushing in the same direction. Either the front was spinning and the rears were pushing, which meant the truck was very unstable, or the front was pulling and the rears were dragging along, which meant they were kind of skipping. They weren't helping, right? They were hindering. So you want your whole truck to be helping and pushing forward. And some level of overdrive, some little slip is, I've found it to be a very good thing, and I really enjoy overdrive in general. This much is just too much because the front and rear are not working together anymore. So in the video description down below, I'm going to provide you a link to those Top CAD portals, and I'm going to provide you a link to the set of gears that I think you need. Not these. These are not the ones to use. Be on the lookout for a future video. I may show a video where I'm swapping these out for something at a lower ratio. I will be swapping it out for something at a lower ratio, whether it's not on video or not. So I'm going to provide you a link over right here to where I did overdrive in the Axial Gladiator. Same Top CAD portals, but not as aggressive of an overdrive. So I'm going to leave that right over here somewhere as we leave today. Thank you for watching. I hope this was interesting. More to come on this. I'm still curious to test this overdrive more. So thank you and goodbye.